Morning, everybody. It is 8:10 a.m. Welcome to my channel. Markets pulled back yesterday a little bit, but then recovered. I figured that was the case. Um, Usually CPI's today. So, and markets came down to kind of a pretty decent key levels. And yeah, the markets before CPI kind of just de-risked. And I guess no one wanted the bag hold. Got a little correction in the market. People probably took profits yesterday a little bit in the election, but market's still bullish. So that's what's going on. Now today we have CPI. So we have core CPI, obviously headline CPI. Have some Fed speak today. That's what's moving markets this morning. Okay, that we'll do that live together. All right, we'll do that live together. Now, without further ado, welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. I use market profile and volume profile to find structure in the markets, along with supply and demand, gamma exposure levels, the most traded price of the year, the month, the week, and the previous day. That is my edge. That's what I use to look at the market and come up with game plans. Okay, that's what I use. It's the way I like to look at structure of the markets, right? And let me know who's in control, and then we go from there. Okay. Now, hopefully, if it's your first time joining me, you could subscribe, set an alert. All right. Make me have 200 subscribers. That would make me feel very nice. Okay. I do this every day at 8, 10 a.m. And you could join your boy. All right. Have a cup of coffee, a cup of tea. Get the market recap of yesterday. Get what's the market news, the economic calendar, what's leading and lagging this morning, and just get the story of the markets, right? And at 8:30 a.m., I usually do the main event. That's the Nasdaq and ES futures analysis. That's where I give you my long and short trade scenarios, okay? And then of course, when that market opens, it's new data you have to analyze. And how do you know how I analyze that? I give you my trading videos. Now, yesterday I had a monster trade. I had a short basically from the highs all the way to the lows in the ES futures. Okay, I will be coming out with a video of that soon. I still owe you one more video, and then I owe you two videos now. And where you can check out those videos is on X. I post them there at Gonzo719. Also, my YouTube shorts. Okay, very educational videos. Also, could check me out at TikTok, Gonzo719 Trader. Okay, and if you guys enjoy my content, please smash that like button. That would mean a lot to me. Okay, so monster trade yesterday, and it was from the pre-market scenario of the ES futures analysis, right? Came right from there. All right, so we'll go over that in a little bit. All right, now let's check out the futures. What's moving markets this morning, right? We have CPI coming out, but let's see what's going on here. All right, so who's leading the pack here? It's the VIX. Now the VIX is up, right? CPI is coming, and right now we're down a little bit in the pre-market. Okay, silver's up 0.65, the dollar's up 0.45. Crude is kind of bottoming out. All right, it's kind of just hitting this big demand zone I have, and I think people are trying to make out what's going on with crude, especially when they said demand growth. They don't expect it to grow or something like that. OPEC said. So very interesting. All right, gold's up 0.28. Now what I saw in gold, I was like, that's a pretty hefty pullback. And then I look at my holding and I'm like, oh, my stop was hit. So that pullback hit my stop. I did make a very nice profit, but I'm out of gold. So that's okay. Had a really nice run. But yeah, I'm out. It had like a 7% pullback or something like that. It got my stop loss. So it's okay. All good. Nice run. All right, 30-year bonds being bought this morning. 10-year yields down 0.08, ES down 0.17, Russell down 0.18, Dow's down 0.19. The Nasdaq is down 0.26. Bitcoin pulling back a little bit, down almost 2%, and Ether's down 3.83%. So that's what's going on there. Moving on to the Max 7 Plus. Let's see who's the leader here. That's Tesla. Tesla actually got a downgrade this morning. Um, but it's up, right? I think a little profit taking happened yesterday, right? So up 1.7% today. Netflix, I believe, hit an all-time high yesterday. I have to make sure I check that. They're at 0.21. All right. Amazon is up 0.16. Now you have a little bunch of laggards here. All right. Now we'll go over like the couple of them here. Microsoft down 0.28, Apple's down 0.31, Google's down 0.45, AMD down 0.58, Broadcom down 0.69, Coinbase down 1.92 with Bitcoin going down. Now Coinbase has been on a monster run. All right, a monster. It was at 160 something not too long ago. I remember it being at 60 not too long ago. So that thing has been a monster. All right, moving on to the top sector stocks. Let's see what's going on there. Walmart. Walmart's up 0.36. I'm a proud holder of Walmart. Exxon up 0.22. Chevron up 0.17. UPS up 0.16. All right, nothing really big there. Who's lagging today? Qualcomm, a semi, down 0.67. And CAT got a downgrade. They're down 1.53. Okay. Noticing a pattern here when we get to sectors. Let's look at the swing trade list here. Who's leading the pack? Spotify, I saw, got an upgrade. Okay, or price target raise. All right. JetBlue up 6.01. Amgen up 2.06. And Affirm up 1.23. Lucid up. Palantir up. Okay. That's about it as far as strong ones. Laggards here. Laggards. Mara Mining for Bitcoin is down 8.16%. That's pretty hefty. SoundHound down 7.41. Skyworks got a downgrade. Okay. Uh, they mentioned something. We'll get into why Skyworks is down, but they're down 7.23. A semiconductor company. Riot down 5.19. Supermicro Computers didn't, something like they failed to show their reports by the deadline, something like that. They're having financial like auditing issues. Okay, they're down 3.5. They're down to $20 a share. That's friggin' nuts. All right. GameStop down 3.39. Bitcoin ETF down 1.98, Shopify down 1.53, Marvel Asemi down 1.27. All those only talk about the one percenters. Micron down 1.15, Square Block down 1.15, Starbucks down 1.11, Robinhood down 1.06, and MicroStrategy rounds out the one percenters. All right, and then a couple of those ARM, AMAT are down. Lam Research, they're all semis. Now you're going to get to what I'm going to say here with the pattern, right? All right, let's go back here. That's not what I wanted. Go to the sectors, the guts of the market. Okay. Who's leading the pack here is energy, but it's not much of a leader. It's up 0.15, followed by discretionary. That's Tesla up 0.12. Now laggard, right? Let's get into the bottom here. Financials down 0.10. Technology, the largest weighted sector in the S&P 500, is down 0.38, 0.39. Semiconductors, every day, I think, this week, semis has been the weakest sector pre-market. So very interesting, right? Very, very interesting. All right, moving on. We got 12 minutes to news pops. So we can get into the economic calendar, some news. Okay, so economic calendar. Let's talk about it. We have core inflation year over year. Let's see what we're looking at here. Consensus is 3.3. We're expecting 3.3. Okay. Now, headline number. Let's see, headline. That's so annoying they don't give the headline. I got to go to the one star to get the headline. There we go. Inflation rate year over year. Works. Okay, so for headline, check this out. Expecting 2.6, previous 2.4. They're expecting a rise in headline CPI. So core expecting to stay the same. Expecting the CPI number, the headline number, which more people pay attention to go up 0.2. Interesting. Okay. Let's go back to the two star. Actually, it was here. I just didn't see it. We got some Fed speak. Fed Logan at 9:45. We have 1 p.m. Fed Muslim and Fed Schmidt at 1:30. All right. API for crude 4:30. Tomorrow is PPI. Tomorrow is PPI. Okay. Now let's look at earnings real quick. Oh boy, did I not show you guys what I'm showing you? I thought I was showing you this. I hope I was. I think I was. All right, earnings. All right, so yesterday after the close, SoundHound, Mara, right? That's where that they reported earnings, so it must have not been great. Kava, Spotify, Occidental Petroleum, Rocket Companies, Instacart, all reported after the close. Now this morning we have nothing really that's that Bitcoin Depot, but that's this morning. Nothing like in my that I have that I really follow. But today after the close, Cisco, that's really HP. Actually, that's not Hewlett Packard. I think that's something else. Or maybe I could wrong. Maybe it is Hewlett Packard. Um, then tomorrow before the open, Disney, Walt Disney, JD.com. All right, what else here? Advanced Auto Parts, Billy. All right, that's the earnings. All right, moving on to news. All right, so Rivian is up. Stock surged over 12% after the electric vehicle maker and Volkswagen announced an increased investment by the German automaker. Okay, Spotify. Stock rose 7.5% after it clocked strong subscriber growth from the September quarter while issuing a solid forecast for the year. Kava. Stock soared 14% after Mediterranean fast casual restaurant chain popped 14% after reporting a top and bottom line beat in the third quarter. Skyworks. Someone's talking about Skyworks. Stock fell 6.5 after the semiconductors company forward guidance for the first quarter came in lighter than expectations. Tesla stock rose 2.6, bouncing off the previous session's sharp losses after a U.S. National Highway Traffic Safety Administration said the EV manufacturer is recalling 2,431 vehicles in the U.S. as loss of drive power can increase the risk of a crash, and they're up. General Motors stock fell 0.3 after the NHTSA said the auto giant would recall 461 839,000 vehicles over an issue with transmission. Rocket Labs stock soared 30% after the space infrastructure firm reported its third quarter earnings and announced news of the first customer for its upcoming Neutron rocket. Spirit Airlines stock slumped 65%. 65%, geez. After the Wall Street Journal reported the troubled carrier was in final negotiations with the bondholders on a restructuring plan to secure the support of key creditors. There you go with some news. All right. Now, I did see in the financial juice that global markets kind of had some losses. All right. Global markets fell. Okay. Anticipating our CPI. We'll see what happens with that. All right. Can we go over upgrades, downgrades? I think we got some time. Let's look at these. Let's see. 3M upgraded, neutral to buy. ON upgraded from neutral to buy. All right. Downgrades. Downgrades CAT. There's a downgrade for CAT I told you about earlier. Cody downgraded. And that's it. Initiations. Let's see here. Initiated coverage of some stocks. Emerson Electric outperform. All right, that's really it there. Let's go to price target changes. Sometimes it's not that great for price target changes. Target raise in. Let's see. Spotify target raises. Shopify target raises. ON target raises. Let's see what else here. Live Nation target raised. Home Depot target raised. What else here? Kava target raised. Skyworks target lowered. Now we get into the target lower. Skyworks, there's a target lowered. Groupon target lowered. Chegg target lowered. All right, we're done with that. We can move on to the daily charts. Let's check out the daily charts. All right, daily charts. Let's see here. Boom. All right, let's go over these dailies. We got about 5 minutes till the news drops. All right, so you can see here, just parabolic kind of move here. All right, needed some time to pull back correction. So yesterday, look, it almost came up to the previous week's highs, right? So we opened here, pushed up, didn't quite come up to the previous week's, and then sold off all the way down to a low of 594.37, and then got bought up, and we closed at 596.90. Okay, still the 90 MA has not been touched, so you're very extended. Okay, very extended. Where are we now? 595. Let's go 596. We're basically at 596. So we're all the way down here. Now, news drops, everything could change, but we're at the lower third of yesterday. So market's accepting a little bit of the lower prices today. Look at the live look of futures here. All right, we're kind of balancing here, right? A low here, a low here, a low here. All right, and CPI is coming out. Let's move on to the Qs. So the Qs, what do? Pushed up, right? On Monday, you pushed, you touched last week's highs, couldn't hold it, right? Look at yesterday. Tried to push up to last week's highs, couldn't hold it. Dropped all the way down to a low of 509.83 and then got bought up. Now, yesterday, tech was relatively stronger than the rest of the market, like Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, right? But the whole rest of the market was weak, all right? Whole rest of the market. Look at the live look of futures here. Look at these lows. Wick, 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 right? So this is becoming, right? People are buying here, but it's getting a little weaker here. And if this falls here, if we can cut through like the what is that, the 210.98 area, boy, this could take a dump here. But like I said, we're still bullish. Even if it did, still bullish. So I'm just saying though, pretty frothy up here, and it's just balancing out. Okay, now I didn't tell you where the Qs were in relation to, so let's get into that real quick. 512, we're right here. 512, we're in the middle of yesterday's session, so relatively stronger Qs and structure wise. Okay, and structure wise. All right, we have news dropping in less than 3 minutes. We can look at our bond market here. Okay, we can look at the bond market and do our triple-headed monster catch up real quick before news drops. All right, so here's your 10-year yield. We're battling this range. Right now we're at the top of this range. We've hit 4.47 yield and that we fell off. Let's see if CPI moves this. Now we're expecting CPI to go up. I don't know what the bond market's going to do with that. Okay, now the dollar. Let's look at that dollar. The dollar's just been rising and rising and rising. That's why gold got dumped on. Right, this just means that the euro and the Japanese yen are falling. Okay, keep an eye on that. Generally not good for stocks, all right? But we're in euphoric after President-elect Trump getting elected. Okay, now we'll finish it off with the third head. That's our VIX. And remember, we had hedge. This is our hedge gauge, and then we had the VIX crush when clearly Trump was the president. So that caused the VIX crush. All right, that's why we're just hanging around here at 15. Okay, if this market starts to just rip and do Santa Claus, this probably will go down to 12, 13. Okay, there is not much fear in this market right now. It's just bullish, right? End of the year typically are bullish. The buyback window's back open for stocks. That's generally bullish. All right, now we can go back to, we'll watch the ES futures, okay? Is that the ES futures? Yeah. Okay. Let's go with that. We'll go to an hourly chart and we'll just watch. We got about a minute now. A minute to CPI. Okay, so I'm going to pull up the data so we can see. Oh, that's pretty cool. I never noticed that before. On this calendar, they're giving a countdown. I never really noticed the countdown. The numbers are counting down to the news drop. So let's watch the countdown. All right. Now, in the meanwhile, I'll show you guys something a little later. Internally, what I watch is the NYSE tick and the NASDAQ tick. And it shows every uptick and downtick in the markets. Now, that's like 2,500 stocks in each exchange, right? That tick were below zero, really low yesterday for the majority of the session. And I just held that short on because it was just overall weak, right? I'll show you guys that later. News just dropping. You can see right now. Boom. All right. News should be filtering in. There we go. All right. What do we have? Let's look at the core. Let's look at the year over year. Year over year, CPI went up zero point 0.2. That was expected. So it's at 2.6 right here. Now the core came in at 3.3. We expected 3.3. Okay. Core inflation 3.3. Expected 3.3. CPI headline 2.6 expected. A rise by zero point 0.2, and that's exactly what came in. Okay. Now the market is liking this right now. It's in line with both expectations. Now that CPI went up, what I can only surmise from it is people are thinking, okay, we're going to get more cuts, even though it was expected. A rise in inflation, right? A rise in inflation is going to make the market think, all right, the Fed may be more aggressive. So the market's really liking it. You can see it's pushing up, right? Whoa. I don't know if you guys heard that, but that was large lots, probably just selling. You can see that wick forming there. You can hear those large lots. Okay. That's what's going on. Now, as you're watching that, I'm going to look at the Fed Watch tool and see what happened. All right, let's do this for a sec. Now, we're seeing the markets liking it, right? Let's look at what happened to the yield, 10-year yield. It's down 0.85. Okay. It's down 0.85. And people are buying right now 30-year bonds. Okay. Gold's up. The dollar is up. Okay. 10-year yield is right now falling. So let's go back to this chart and we can look at 10-year yield, what it's doing from this news. 10-year yield is falling. People are buying bonds. Maybe thinking, oh my God, inflation's going up. The yields are pretty nice. I don't know. This is what I'm just showing you guys, okay? All right, we can go back to futures. That's what the ES looks like. Let's see the NASDAQ. NASDAQ kind of looks the same. Okay. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. You can look at the daily chart again. Let's just see in the daily perspective here, in the big scope of things. That's your ES. That's your ES, right? So in the grand scheme, we're just going nowhere. Okay? We're going nowhere. All right, I think we got, the news dropped. Market seems to like it for right now. Bond market is being bought. Okay? Have to see if that stays that way. All right. I think we can get right into. Why don't we get right into the market profile, volume profile? I think we're ready for that. We're ready for it. All right, and we'll look at the levels. We'll look at a game plan, and see what your boy thinks here. All right, not sure who's with me today. Could be Rosita, Pancake. I don't know if you're working out. I haven't seen G-Man in a while. K Trader, Muhammad, Luis. Don't know where they're at. The Chief's there. Are you in your car, Chief? Or are you watching? Because I think you're a rare watcher. You're more of a listener, but I could be wrong. I believe you're more on the move, on the go, as you should be. She's a hustler. All right. Let's see if this supply zone was broken. Yes, this is supply zone broke, so we get rid of that. All right. Now, let's talk about that monster trade I took yesterday. Okay. And we'll recap what happened. Right. So remember I said I didn't want to be involved in this chop zone. right? And yesterday I said this was the most traded price of the previous day, was right here. Okay. This is an 8-hour supply zone. Okay. And there was a resistance right here that was broken. Okay. And that was a bull trap. Okay. So once this hit yesterday's most traded price, all right, I got short around 60.33. I'm not sure if that's 60.30, but it's pretty close to the top. And I rode that all the way down here. Okay, because what did I say yesterday if it got broken? The 60.13, 60.12 week low, right? And we went under the most traded price of the week, so that just fueled that move lower, as well as that market that was, the ticks were super, super weak. Also, the breadth, all right, or the vol-D, which means selling volume versus buying volume. So that ratio was 3 to 1, almost 4 to 1 at one point. So that means 4 to 1 more selling into down stocks than into up stocks. So that was very bearish. It's just that tech and Nvidia and Microsoft and Apple were like moving up while the rest of the market was going down. But at the end of the day, they went to the top of their ranges and they started to fall. And that's when the market did its thing. All right, so beautiful trade. Like I said, I'm coming out with a video. All right. Now, market is liking this, right? So let's look at this as the market is pushing up to new highs in the overnight. Okay. Right now, currently in a supply zone, and this supply zone could be taken out. All right. Look at the profile. Now I know Rosita is driving, so she can't see this, but that's pretty balanced, right? Remember I was talking about balance? Well, this is the rolling week. Okay, most traded price is 60.25. Picture that as the middle, like the middle of a seesaw. Okay, this is balance. This is value. Price is right there. That's why I love when whoever's watching. Why do I chart these most traded prices? Right? They're really the most traded price of the week. Right there, 60.25. Because they're magnets. Okay? They love to go back to the magnet. And we're right there, 60.25. You can see the price, 60.25. We're right there right now. And what that means is it's a horrible trade location. You're in the middle of balance. It just went back to the most traded price of the week. Okay? The most agreed upon price of the week, which is just means there's shorts, there's longs. Everybody's there. Everybody's agreeing upon 60.25. Okay? All right, so that's that. Okay, now let's look at where we're at, right? Overnight low, 59.993. Overnight high, 60.26. Okay. Yesterday's highs, 60.36. Is that 60.36? Yeah. And 59.86 was our low. We're inside yesterday's session. Okay, we're above 60.1175, which is the midpoint of yesterday. Okay, and we've got some thin volume here. Right, we just pushed up with the CPI number. Now, when you have this thin of volume, that means that's running out of participants. But it needs to see if it can stay here and build value here. Right, now we know over the week that's value. But for this little move up, you got thin volume right here. Right, and you're hitting against the most traded price of the week and this supply zone. All right, now that makes us have a weak high right here at about 60.27. Okay, so you have your most traded price of the week and your overnight low is right there. That's a weak high now. All right, confluence high. That also lines up with yesterday's value area high. So you got a lot of levels here to work with. Most traded price of the week, overnight high, yesterday's value area high. All right. And week to date VWAP is right there as well. Anchor VWAP for the week. And we got thin volume. So right now, the market opened up. If it failed here, might be a decent short. Okay. Now, as far as to the downside, if we look to the left, right, 59.86 was the low. Kind of comes up with this little low right here. Want to see what that does if we come down there again to the yesterday's lows. Okay, we do have a demand zone down here, right here. Okay, so really this area is what I'm going to be looking at for buyers because we're bullish right now. Now this market's pushing up. Okay, it just broke that supply, so see, I got to get rid of that now. Like I said, I believe the market's looking at this like the Fed might cut more aggressively. Okay, I mean, I said I was going to do it for you. I'm going to do it. Let's do it. Let's look at the Fed Watch tool. Okay, let's look at the Fed Watch tool. All right, let's do it. I'm going to bring you to it in a sec. And let's just see for the next meeting, right? Okay, so for the next meeting, December 18th, we're current rate, let's just call it 4.5. So right from, I don't know what it was yesterday, but right now, 68.8% is at a quarter point cut, and 31.2% is at no cut. Wow, interesting. Very interesting. 31.2% at no cut. Okay. So that's your Fed Watch tool. Let's get back to the main event here. All right. Now market's pushing up. It just broke the week high we spoke about. Okay. Now still in supply. It knocked out one of my supplies, but we're still in supply here. Okay. Now we're going up to the RTHI. Yesterday's highs. See this thin? It keeps getting thinner, right? This is all emotional buying. You just have to watch it. Okay. Now the game plan could change a little bit. It's breaking that weak high. It's doing what it's supposed to because when you break weak high, that should, I would expect it to maybe test this supply up here. We will have to see. Okay. So the game plan could be changing in front of our eyes. Okay, but remember, we're in balance. We're in balance. Okay, now, one other note I love having these on my charts is check this orange level out. Just like in the SPY chart now, in futures, I have last week's highs up here, 60.40.5. 60.40 and a half is last week's highs. Okay, look at that as a barometer. That's a good barometer to look at, right? Last week's highs. So that will come into the game plan probably today. Okay, so now this still is weak right here, but now I might have to include this whole area. Okay, all right, I think we can get right into scenarios here. No use to delay anymore, right? This is perfectly fine what it's doing, because I'd rather it not be right in this area. I'd rather kind of test the fringes up here. So let's talk about the short play because we're in supply. There's a lot of overhead supply here. I talked about that yesterday. I said the markets are going to have a hard time going up because of that overhead supply. Okay, and it did yesterday. So, but it doesn't mean it can't do it today. Still have a lot of overhead supply. Okay, so how am I going to look at this? Right? We're going to start with the short side. We have a large 8-hour supply zone that's here, which caused this selling, right? Caused that selling. Okay, now our high here from yesterday is right here. And there's a supply zone right there. We're inside it right now. Okay, so this area, we're going to include last week's highs. That's 60.40 and a half. This area. Okay. Now there's single prints that just formed here. Okay, single prints right here underneath your most traded price of the week. It becomes very tasty for a move lower. Now I don't know if a move lower is going to happen. Okay, so let's look at this. All right. So what I'd like to see is what is it going to do when we go up to yesterday's highs? Okay. Now there is a supply right there, 60, 30. I'm trying to see here because it's two numbers here, 60, 36, I believe. All right. So what does it do here? Now, even if it does this, why I'm including it, it pushes up into last week's high, 60, 40 and a half. I want to know what it does. There's a big supply zone up here. Can it? If I get something like this, boop, goes under, start holding, right? Think about this. All right, want you guys to think about this. Remember, we're in balance. Another thing here, I should note. All right, for the weekly rolling profile, 6038, this level right here, is the value area high. So that's a little tip. That's value area high means that you want to sell high, right? When value is high, you want to sell. You don't want to be a buyer. You want to be a seller. Okay, so we're getting a little selling right here. So check that out. We come into this area, value area high for the week. Last week's highs, think about this. Longs are from here, right? Longs are from here. Price is right here. Okay, so if we came in here, it'd be nice, right? I would probably take some off here, 60.25. Now, we have single prints now. If 60.25 gets taken out, you could really cascade down here. And there's a demand zone here, but you can cut through that. And I think if you cut through yesterday's lows, you're probably going to try to fill this gap right there. And that gap fill is 59.67. 59.67. Now, the next move to lower, if it really got cooking, would be this naked VPOC. That naked VPOC is an untested most traded price. It's 59.57. Okay, I don't know if that happens. I'm just giving you the scenario. Okay, that's what I'm looking at there. Now, as far as a bull case, okay, now I don't love it because we're in the middle at the most traded price. Okay, and there's so much supply here that even if normally if there wasn't such heavy supply, I would say let's see if this market does this. Let's see it breaks that supply, comes up, rejects, and let's say it holds and holds and holds. Okay, that's a little more better to try to go up there. But I needed to take out the supply. I needed the markets to stay strong and to hold the most traded price of the week. That's one. Okay, now this market is starting to pull back, right? Where? Where did it top out at? The most traded price of the week. Okay, now, so if the market is not that weak, okay, and it's kind of like in parity, it's not like super weak, and we start coming down, well, where am I going to look? I want to look at this demand zone, right? The overnight lows, this area. What does it do? If we come in here and you start making higher lows, we're probably going to go back to the most traded price. Okay. Now, see, these single prints are starting to get cleaned up. So that's what I'm looking at as far as the ES. Okay, that's your ES. Let's go to our NASDAQ. Here's our NASDAQ. This supply zone is gone. Okay, that supply zone is gone. Now we're in this supply zone. Okay, so very similar, but there's a big level here. Okay, I'm staring me right in the face. Big level here. All right. Now, first thing you want to do is you want to look at our profile, right? Same thing, right? Look at this profile. Beautiful profile. I mean, you talk about a bell curve here. Look at that thing. Beautiful. And that just tells you it's balanced. And where is it at? Right in the middle of balance, right at that most traded price at like 211.90. Right? 211.90. Now the price is rising a little bit, but you see price returns back to balance. The most traded price of the week. That's just what happens. It's magnets, okay? All right. Now, Let's talk about yesterday's highs, yesterday's lows. Now, yesterday found support in these single prints. When you find support in single prints, remember that is bullish, and then it ripped. Now, I almost flipped long when my short did that, but I was like, you know what? I'm happy. I'd rather take a break. All right. So what I normally do now, clean those singles. So I got to bring them down, and there's that much singles left. Okay. Okay. So let's look at this here. All right. So big level here. Let's say it's 210.52 to 210. I'm sorry, 212.52 to 212.43. This area here. Notice all this resistance right here, right there. Sellers want to step up there, and bulls want to break it. Okay, bulls want to break it. All right, we do have a demand zone here. All right, this is your overnight low. Okay, it's your overnight low. Okay, so you break that. That's a key. This is a key area here with yesterday's low. Now you do have below this single prints and a gap, that unfilled gap. Okay, where does that unfilled gap start? That starts at about let's call it 210.03. All right, that's where the gap starts. The gap ends. You fill the gap at 209.35. Okay, so that's what's below us. Okay, now again, there's a lot of overhead supply here. What's this? Last week's highs, right? Market's staying under last week's range, right? And you have that big week high here, the 212.43 to 212.52. Okay, this is our playground. This is our playground. Now look at price at the magnet of the most traded price. Horrible trade location. You're in the middle of balance. Look at the profile. You're in the middle of value. So I would love to get a test here or get a test down here somewhere. Okay. Now don't get me wrong. If something happens around here and we kind of do this, okay, that's different. But let's talk about it. Let's talk about the levels. I'm just trying to see if there's any other key levels that I can see. No. All right. I just gave you the key levels. So now we're going to get right into scenarios. All right. No time to waste here. All right. Let's talk and start with the bear. So, week high. Week high. Okay. I'm going to include last week's highs, 212.80, no, 212.66 and a half. That's last week's highs. I'm going to include this supply, okay? And we know 212.52 basically right here is that level of resistance. I want to see the market, what it does when it reaches these levels. Okay, so, and the market's got to defend here. Okay, so what I would like to see, a push up into this level. Now this could be a bull trap. Okay, push up into this level. Maybe you break that supply, but then you got last week's highs. That would be the last defense for me to see. If it did one of these, and fell and got rejected. All right. Now, if the market is like in parity, where there's not big winners, or I mean, it's not real weak or real strong, I have no problem with shorting. And then I'm going to take this. Where do you think I'm going to take it? Right to the most traded price of the week. Probably take some off there and the most traded price of yesterday. Now, if you cut through that, yeah, you're cooking now. You're cooking now with some gas. And you're going to come down here and see what you do with this demand zone. If you knock it out, you're going to test yesterday's lows. If you test yesterday's lows in this market's week, you're going to rip through those single prints and start touching the gap. If this market wants, and again, this is still bullish in the macro. It could rip down and go right to the gap fill. What's that level? That level is your 209.36. Okay? That is the bear scenario. Boom. Now, let's talk about the bull. Just like I said in the ES now, okay? Now, what could happen here? What I'd like to see happen is a push through here and we test this demand. Okay, we test it, we start pushing up, higher lows, and the market starts firming up. Take some off here at the most traded price. All right, about 211.90. If, okay, you push up and you break that weak high, remember this area, and you break the weak high and you just pull back a little bit and you start holding and holding, well, you can start to try to weasel your way back up here. Okay, now what else can happen? We could just do this right here, push up and then hold this level and try to move up, right? Another option, you lose this demand, you come down, you hit yesterday's lows. All right, now remember, single prints that show support are bullish. If we come in here and do one of these, whoop, higher low, yeah, we're going back to balance. All right, there's your scenarios, folks. There it is. Hope you enjoyed that. All right. Now, if you did enjoy that analysis, if you did, you know what to do. Smash the like button. All right, smash the like button. We got our plan. All right, we got our plan. Now, Nasdaq has that beautiful level that's just giving us, when you get to that level, right? When you get to that level, it's the market's going to tell you something, right? Now, how I say single prints, right? Well, yeah, it could be Elfie, elephant on a toothpick, right? But it gives you information right off the bat, right? So that level, that 21252 level, right? There's a number of highs there. Why I say, just think about this. If the market breaks it and keeps going, all right. The market told me it wants to go higher, right? If we kind of go to it and just reject, that tells me we're going back to the other side of balance, more or less, right? Or it does a little boop, real quick push up, and then a rejection, that's going to go back too. Okay, so that's why whenever I tell you these levels, that's why I want to see reactions. And then the market tells me what I need to do. Okay, just hopefully you understand that. And we're on the same page when I say I want to see a reaction, right? Because I would say in the past with me, I would be like, oh, we're breaking out. And then I'd get stopped out. I would get sucked in, right? But you really want to see reactions, okay? Now, other than that, hopefully, make me get 200 subscribers. If you're new, please just subscribe, all right? I do this every day at 8 a.m. Join your boy for coffee, tea, water, whatever you like to drink. Look, Rosa is driving. She's getting her update, right? Getting the story of the market, getting your levels down, right? She actually told me she does an AI thing where she like runs through my whole video and it gives her all the bullet points, which was awesome. I forgot, Rose, I actually forgot to talk to you about that when I saw that. That was friggin' awesome. Like seeing my own voice in bullet points, it was pretty cool. So you could do that. I don't know if she wants to share because she's driving the program she uses to bullet point my videos, but it was pretty cool. Um, but anyway, I do this every day. Hopefully you join me. Right now, I owe you guys 2 trading videos now. I loaded you up with 4 last week. I got one in the chamber, another one from yesterday. Right, over 200% winner yesterday. Should have been more. Okay, should have been more. All right, I took some profits on the way down, but then once I got really confident and held in it, I didn't have a lot of bullets left, even though it was a great trade. If I did it from the entry, it was something like a 800% winner. Okay, so but I'll take it, right? And you will get those videos, right? And I will post them where on X at Gonzo719. Also YouTube Shorts. Check that out, right? Educational, they're educational, and ask questions. Make a comment, ask a question, I'll answer it. All right. You can also find that on TikTok at Gonzo719 Trader. All right. So check it out. Check it out. All right, everybody. That's it for me. stay green. No trades a trade. And now CPI came out. And now kind of right now, you're in the middle of the overnight session, okay? And the 10-year yield is down even more. People are buying bonds. So this is very interesting, but you're in the middle of balance. Right now, bad trade location. I want to see one of those edges tested. All right. Everybody have a great day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow morning.